All right, I think we are live here, and welcome to the first marketingidiots.co. That's .co. That's our site. I'm here with John P. I'm Nick Brisson, and we're here to do a quick teardown or a quick review of a site, a website. That's a local sign design company based in London, UK. We're just going to be taking a quick look, a quick overview of their website and some improvements from a simple perspective, what they can do to improve and make it better. And I'm not a local SEO expert by any means, but just some simple things that we think stick out about the site that we think could be improved upon. And so, yeah, I'm here with John, and I'll let you introduce yourself, John.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, I think you set it up pretty well there. We're doing this kind of site audit here for one of your friends, I think, who kind of wanted to, wanted someone else's opinion on how he could help his friend improve, or his client improve SEO and kind of, I don't know, get the most out of their website and their online presence. So that's what we're going to try to do. We've kind of gone through the website once before, but we haven't like prepared a script or anything. So it's kind of off the cuff. We're just going to do like a quick review of I think first the technical aspect of the website, and then going into maybe like the SEO aspects with the site structure and that kind of thing. And then we'll wrap things up with the design and the user experience.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's take it away then. So I guess from the technical aspect, we've kind of discussed that simple things like the HTTPS, you can make this site HTTPS. It's a big thing that Google looks for. Also speeding up the speed of the site and how fast it loads. I think you could probably touch on that for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, like you say, the one important thing is okay, what's happening now? It's not supposed to happen. This is the excitement of doing things live. Things go wrong. But yeah, like you say, with the HTTPS, obviously that's kind of expected of websites right now, or at this point in time, especially by Google. But you can probably touch more on that and the SEO impact that HTTPS has for websites. But if we look at the kind of the website performance, I mean, it's not great. So first of all, the page speed is very slow. It's 4.3, takes 4.3 seconds to load in the homepage. A lot of the sites that I work with or that I build for clients, they're usually below 1 second, which is partly because of the just inherent to the way that I build them, but also just kind of making sure that you're not putting too much crap on your homepage, and that you're kind of optimizing your images, compressing them for web use, that kind of thing. And we also see here that there are a lot of page requests being made on the homepage. So it's probably a lot of JavaScript, I'm suspecting, and a lot of images as well, as we will see. And this kind of the complexity of the code and the amount of page requests kind of ties into what we'll be talking about a lot throughout this call, which is kind of the issue of complexity and trying to keep things more simple, which I think is generally a good idea.
Yeah, to add on to that point, like to make a good site, it doesn't need to be super complex. It doesn't need to use a lot of plugins or have a lot of busyness or things going on. Simple is better, especially with these local businesses. You just want to display a story or tell a story, tell what your business is about, make it easier for Google to crawl the site. We were talking that the navigation of the site is just, there's way too many pages, way too much depth. Like, just make it simple. A site should be maybe 20 pages max, And right now, I mean, just by clicking around, it's probably somewhere in the nature of like 50 to 100 to 100 pages,
Oh,
even. So I don't
easily hundreds.
yeah, just way too many menus and clicking through. Yeah, I guess when you include all of these image galleries, easily hundreds of pages. It just does not need to be that much. I'll let you in a minute talk about what we're going to suggest, but to wrap up kind of like the technical SEO stuff, uh, making sure you're naming your images to add on to the speed of the website. You want to make sure you're compressing all your images. You can go to Optimizilla, and it's a simple free image compressor. Just put your images in and compress them all down. They don't need to be 4K high definition images to make an impact on your website. It just needs to be not pixelated, and it will be fine. So yeah, I would definitely opt for speed over super high quality images. They want to be high quality, but you're not going to be zooming up on any of these and like inspecting the pixelation of them.
No.
You're not a professional photographer. Like none of that really matters. So just keeping it simple and aiming for speed. And naming the images, adding the location of where the images were taken before you upload them to your WordPress or whatever your website is based on, is going to greatly improve your SEO from a technical standpoint. And so, yeah, that's what I'll say about that. And also with the navigation and keeping your site simple, it makes it much easier for Google to crawl, and it makes it so that your link juice and when you have someone a link sent to one of your pages, if that page links off to a million other pages, like that link juice just dissipates so much more. And yeah, you're not really making it clear to Google what you're trying to rank for and what you're trying to promote on your site. If you have, 5 pages that explain the 5 different services that you have, and they're long storytelling pages with a couple of images interspersed, maybe an embedded video, and it's 1,000 words or so, that's going to rank much better than having 5 different pages explaining one service, and each of those pages has just a couple hundred words and a big image gallery that takes forever to load. All of those things are just no-nos. So yeah, that's what I'll say about the technical side.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty more or less comprehensive look at the technical side of things, especially when it comes to SEO. So yeah, so when you go to the homepage here, what you notice, well, the first thing that you notice is this background video, and then also you immediately notice that there's a lot of different things going on here. So there's the background video, and then on top of the background video, they put this kind of animated text, which is like, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of this. It's very complex, and it just looks kind of busy. Like you're really trying too hard to have a lot of different fancy effects, which don't really fill any real purpose in terms of user experience. In fact, this thing where it kind of writes different things each time, like people aren't going to remember what it said. So if you do say something important, then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. And if you're not saying anything important, then why have it in the first place? So that's what I'll say about that. You scroll down here, you have these really, you almost need to bring out like a microscope or a magnifying glass or something to see what this is about. And it's kind of the same with the text. It's a very small font size. And oops, I accidentally clicked on it. And it's kind of this light gray, which you really want to go for contrast to to boost legibility. So yeah, there's just these tiny images. They don't really add much value. They obviously want you to click on these, but it's just kind of, I don't really feel like, like if this is the way that you're treating me when I'm on your homepage, I do not want to know how you'll be treating me when I, travel deeper into your website. So what I would do here is I would I would get rid of all of this and this client thing with the, I mean, this is pretty common for like social proof, but it's just way too many clients, and it's kind of, you know, I've been playing around with this for a while, so I know that you can drag these, but it's not obvious at all when you first land on the website. So what I would do here is I would treat this as kind of an opportunity to show off your best work. You know, have maybe pick out 3 to 6 different case studies that you're really proud of, that reflect the best work that you do, and the kind of clients that you want to attract, and just stick to those. Have obviously like a bigger grid, have the images take up way more space. You know, if you're doing 3 of them, you can have it almost be full width here. If you're doing 6 of them, you can like 50% width, you know, 2 on each row, that kind of thing. And then just write something about it. So when you click on it, you get taken to like a case study where you kind of document the process. You maybe show some pictures of, you know, from the shop where they're manufacturing the sign. And if it's a sign that you've designed yourself, then, you know, obviously include that process as well, so that it's kind of like, you're showing people how you work, and that's, I think, a big key to reassuring potential customers that, you know, you are professionals and you know what you're doing, and they're not just jumping into this, potentially jumping into this business relationship, with their, you know, with a blindfold, or however you say it. So that's what I would do for that. And then here also, it's kind of quick quote, the action signs promise, get inspired. It's just kind of, what I would do here, I would have like, you know, one section where you talk about one kind of service that you do, and then another section, the other service that you do. And then wait, like the last thing should be like a contact form, and maybe like a map, maybe like, if your company has like an interesting story, if it's family owned or if it's kind of a smaller business, then it's always good to include something about like a story about your business that people can kind of relate to, or they kind of feel like they know you a bit, and it probably makes you more likable as well. If it's a, you know, unless your story is that you're a big fat meanie, which I doubt that's the case. So yeah, that's what I would do with the homepage. Just simplify things. Again, like the same with the, like you mentioned with the site structure. Just simplify things. All of this is very complex, and it's confusing the hell out of your website visitors.
Yeah, and I mean, even when you go to the quick quote page, we were looking at that, and it's just
Oh
too
yeah,
much. It does not need to be this fancy or this complex. Like, people will think that the more restraint that you show, especially in design, is really what sets apart, like, at least from what I've seen, the top designers from the wannabes, right?
yeah,
People who do graphic design or design websites when they're just starting out, they think they need to show off all their skills and like put all this time in and show that they can do all these cool fancy opt-in forms and stuff, when in reality, like, you don't need to do any of that. And actually showing restraint is what's gonna make it simpler for people. Like, you want to be able to show people, you know, great example. I'll let you piggyback off that, John.
yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, just take a look at Apple's website. I mean, Apple is probably, you know, the world leader in product design at the very least, and their website really reflects their kind of attention to detail. And as you see, like, there's nothing fancy here. When you load it in, there are no spinning, like the iPhone doesn't spin in from the left or the right or anything. Just loads in. iPhone 10, say hello to the future, a beautiful picture of the product. You scroll down, iPhone 8, a new generation of iPhone. Um, and you really see, like, this is the most important thing, and it's probably what most people are coming to their website to look at. And then it kind of goes in the order of importance. And yeah, when you click one of these, like, again, It's a very simple website. Nothing too fancy here. They have like a cool cool kind of scroll effect here, which you should probably stay away from unless you're working for Apple, where you where you can actually execute on these ideas properly. But yeah,
Even
like
that,
here
that's
it's
that's one thing. That's like the first fancy thing that we've seen. Besides
yeah,
that,
yes,
everything
like
else is
like you
very
say,
tame. They're showing you they could do it if they want, but for the
yeah.
most part, they're keeping it tame. They're keeping it simple, clean. There's no clutter. They're not showing you, a whole gallery of iPhone images off the bat. It's just
No, it's like you say, they're showing restraint. And when you scroll down here, it's like, you know, simple, text, like very easy to read. Very succinct. There is not like a wall of text, explaining why you should buy the iPhone 10. And the same here, like it's all screen. They let kind of I mean, this is just like a very simple zoomed in version of the product shots. They explain like the features and the benefits, fills the hand and it dazzles the eyes. Um, Innovative technology. Like there's not like none of these things are kind of rotating in, and they're not really trying to do anything. They're not trying to fit this much information into one page.
mhm.
Like there's a huge difference between, and of course they're different businesses, but the same kind of design principles still apply, where you should not bombard your visitor with this much information right off the bat. And it looks bland, it looks boring, and kind of cramped. Like you're not letting these things breathe. Like you have a lot of space, obviously, that's unused, but you're not activating the white space. You should kind of bring this to, like, you should bring all of this content to the right, and make the images bigger, make the headings bigger, make the body the body text bigger, easier to read, easier to skim through. Don't do this funky thing with, you see how they're like the text is kind of stretched out to the right here,
Mhm.
which
It's
is
squared off on the
affecting,
right-hand side.
yeah, which is affecting the spaces between the words, and it's making it more difficult to read, and it's just not conducive to a good user experience.
Yeah.
Um, if I were to, try to fix some of these things, I would first of all, I would probably do something like that.
Yeah, bigger font
Bigger fonts. Yeah, it was 14
all
pixels,
over.
which is
Everything,
tiny.
every font on this site just bigger.
Yep. And take that off. Like you see the difference here? Like
Yeah.
it's so much nicer now.
Yeah.
Easier to read, and it doesn't look as kind of like this wall of text. And then this thing right here, um, you know, just add like some font weight to it,
There you go.
as much as possible. And then beef up the font size a bit, something like that. And then obviously like this is still a mess
Obviously,
because
you'd get rid of
there's
that image right there too. You just make it
yeah, I don't even know what's going on here with
text,
the
image in line.
yeah no, this the code is not very yeah, it's not great. I don't really know what they're doing here. Yeah, this isn't this isn't really helping things. But yeah, you get the idea, kind of just, I mean, making sure that there's proper, see, it's
You
already,
can see just from a couple simple
yeah,
changes how much better it looks.
hmm yeah, for sure. And that's kind of like you don't need to to work with like fancy effects, or have like a black background to make it look cooler.
Inspiration, and you know, why don't we take
Yeah,
a quick
yeah.
look at that the quick quote page there too, and just kind of
Oh
again
yeah.
just
So
more of
so
the
maybe
same
we should
theme going
explain
on.
first what this is about. So these things, like all of these images, they have like these thumbs up things. So if you click the thumbs up, it will save it'll save the image, and then when you're requesting a quick quote, it will include that in the kind of um, in the I don't know, like what's the point of this, so that the business owner or the whoever's checking these submissions can see what people like, or what kind of sign they would want. I don't know, it's just very confusing, and as a user, like that's not at all apparent when you're kind of
No, there's
using
not.
the
There's it
website.
took us. Yeah, we were messing around on this website for 2 hours, going over all the features
Right.
and the different things about it, exploring it, and we barely found that out till like I don't know the last 15 minutes before we recorded this. So
Right. And maybe that's just us being stupid, but then again, I don't think we're that much different from the average person who's
right,
going to be visiting this website. Um, and
yeah, it's not
just
like
another note on the quick quote page here. Like this thing scares me. If first of all, what the hell is this? Okay, so you have a guide to quick quote. If you need to write a guide for a simple contact submission, then you're
like
doing something wrong. Um, so that's like the first thing, right? You have this, and it's not even apparent
way
that
too much.
this is what you're gonna get when you click this. It's just like an eye kind of dislodged from the rest of the page, just floating up here and like very solitary and sad looking.
Eye of Solomon over there.
um, and then this kind of speech bubble. Welcome to Quick Quote. Please tell us what type of sign you require. You can say as much or as little as you like. And then you have to like fill in this text bubble here, and then you click next. I don't know, like hello test, and then it just scrolls you down. Like there's no need for the next button here. You just keep scrolling down, and then it's like, you enter your information here, and the next, and then I assume this is going to. So let's just do this, right? Yeah, it's just going to scroll you down again. It's just I don't know, why not just have like a very simple contact form here where you enter your email address, your name, and then what kind of, I don't know, like what kind of sign you would want, you could have like a drop down menu, and then just have them write like, or maybe like your budget range, to filter out people who can't afford your services. And then, yeah, just have like a normal contact submission form. Like this is way too complicated.
Yeah, just way too much. Too much
Yeah.
space too. Like instead of having that button bring you down to the next part of the page, it should be very apparent that you can just scroll down.
Yeah.
Again, fonts are all way too small. The whole thing is just way too small.
Yeah, and it's just
And
weird and goofy looking. Like,
yeah.
why have these speech bubbles? Why is the background black?
Why,
Yeah,
and then you go quick quote versus contact. Why it should just be one or the other, you know? You don't
right.
need
Yeah, pick one.
yeah, pick one. Then there's a whole different form for contact. So,
Hmm.
do those even go to the same place? We don't really know. Uh,
Yeah, exactly.
I
Are
would
they
just go
expecting you to
with
find
this.
this?
Go ahead.
Yeah, like, are they expecting, so for prospective clients, are they supposed to fill this out, or are they supposed to do the quick quote? I mean, it's just very, I don't know, kind of just very random. And
Mm.
another thing, like about this black background, like I feel like I'm floating around in space, and these are like, random meteorites or something. It's just very intimidating.
It's just way
It's
too
not,
much.
yeah,
And I can't imagine that anyone's going to go through the
no,
trouble of going of reading the quick quote guide to figure out how to
yeah,
use
that's
the submission.
bizarre.
It's and then go through all that and then actually expect it's going to work, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a big leap of faith, really, for someone to take with this whole thing. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's just it's just too much.
Yeah, and obviously for this feature, like they probably invested quite a bit of time and money into developing this, and it's just like it just I don't know, it does nothing to kind of improve the user experience. I mean it just worsens it really.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, that's what I would say about that. And then kind of when you when you're on this gallery page, it's very interesting how they have these things set up. So I mean, again, you have to pull out your microscope here to kind of figure out what it is that you want to
I
click
keep one
on.
handy next to me. I don't know about you, John,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's right on my
same.
desk.
Always when just in case you land on one of these websites, always good to have. Um, but yeah, and then you click on like office signs, right? And then you get to this um, kind of strange page. Like it doesn't really make that much sense, and they have like all of these different types of office signs. Which I mean, is this really necessary? Like is someone like put yourself in the shoes of a prospective client? Like I have a financial firm and I need a sign outside and I need a sign inside in the reception and maybe somewhere else as well. Um, am I really going to know exactly what type of sign, like what the name of the sign is? Like
No.
you're just going to kind of look for similar things, and then you're going to contact them and ask like, okay, I want a sign here and here. Can you do it? Like, you don't need like window frosting film, office wall graphics, and murals. You can just show it, like make the image bigger. Um, so
And then
that's what I would say about this page. And then the really the really strange thing that we found last time we were going through this. So if you click on, for example, external office signs, so see examples, right? And then
perfectly
it takes you to
logical thing to do, right?
building signs.
Okay, so we went from office signs to building signs.
Right. Yeah, and then you scroll down here and it's like
Oh man,
architecture and these buildings. It's
there's a whole nother layer that we have to go through. Now we got to figure out, okay, so we wanted an office sign. Is it a brick office sign? Is it a brick building, a warehouse? What is it?
right,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Like, okay, so then you click here, and then it's like external illuminated, which I'm not sure if that's what we clicked on even.
Right.
Is- Let me just go back here. And again, the site takes so long to load. No, so it's like small exterior building signs, right? It
Okay.
says nothing about illuminated.
Yeah.
And then you click here
Well, it even
and they're
says there,
literally,
it says metal, acrylic, glass,
yeah,
and somehow we ended up at external illuminated.
right, yeah. It's just very bizarre. And then you click on this and it's like, this is kind of their version of a case study, I suppose. Like they've had this huge customer, like the Financial Times, a major newspaper, internationally renowned, etc., etc. Um, and they have 3 sentences to describe the work that they did.
Right.
It's just very underwhelming.
Well, we've done a good amount of bashing here, John. So why don't we kind of wrap it up with saying like what we were talking about there about the pick six testimonials. Like we'll take this Financial Times for example, right?
Mm,
How would you go about then? I was saying earlier to you, just make this one big page of the testimonial showing the process. How you maybe some concept mock-ups of the design that you did, starting from start to finish. Take someone through the process of how they made this sign. Maybe a picture of them putting the sign up there with the crane, talking about the installation method that they used, why they chose the neon instead of whatever the different types of signs that they have. More explanation, more of just the story behind each of these projects, so
yeah.
you can put yourself as a client in the shoes of Financial Time and see how action signs, took care of you, and walked you through the process and what you can expect from them working with them. You know, if I came to this page and I saw, or if I came to what we're describing, the page that we're describing, and I saw, you know, mock-ups. So I'm like, okay, I can expect that they're going to do a couple iterations of design before we proceed with the sign, right?
Hmm.
I don't know how they arrived at the making of this sign or what their facilities are like or any of that. You know, if you show
Right.
the sign for the next part, we went from design to crafting it, right? And then you showed it
Hmm.
on the table getting made. You know, here's us bending the pipe of the glass. You know, here's how we insert the gas into the glass or whatever it may be. The attachments, and I'm not saying like a step-by-step how-to article. I'm just saying in general, kind of showing more of the process. You know, here's installation day, and the crane's raising it up, and it was a big day for us because the Financial Times finally got their sign or whatever it is. You know, I don't know how you
Right.
feel about that, but that's kind of how I would approach it.
Yeah, treat it as a story and as an opportunity to kind of show off the work that you do. I mean, these pictures are nice and all, and it looks kind of, you know, it looks cool and everything, but what would be even cooler and especially interesting to someone who's thinking about hiring you, is kind of finding out your process and how you arrived at this final result. And then also, I'm assuming that they're probably doing sign maintenance for this sign, and so mentioning that and kind of writing about what kind of maintenance they're doing, and you know, how often they need to, I don't know if they're cleaning it or if they're making sure that all the neon lights are working or whatever it is they're doing. Like, they should be writing about that stuff.
Yeah,
um, but there's just nothing. It's just pictures without context.
and the context that is there is like literally a footnote. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
And it
smaller
says
than
nothing about the
that's
process or anything. It's just kind of saying how good it looks, which, yeah, sure, you might say that, but so what? Like, like it looks good, but how did you get it there?
yeah. Yeah, and in case you want to share the sign too, we have all the
Right. In case you
the
want to share
applicable
it on
social sharing buttons
on
right at your
Google
fingertips.
Plus.
That's right. On LinkedIn, I'll be sharing this tomorrow. uh, anyways, so yeah, to kind of wrap things up, just simplifying everything,
Mhm.
making fewer pages with longer content, storytelling, and bigger images, keeping things simple, bigger fonts, and
Yep.
all of those things will help to for Google to crawl your page better, and so you rank higher for these things. Not only that, but also give your clients and prospective clients much better user experience. Is that kind of what you would say?
Yeah, absolutely. Put yourself in your ideal customer's shoes. Kind of plan out like what exactly they're looking for in terms of information. Just use empathy when you're designing, and then also, like you say, keep things simple, keep the design intentional. Don't do things just because you think it's going to be cool or because it's like a novel feature like this, like for later. Which the first time I clicked this, I thought it was a Facebook type thing.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, exactly like you say, simple, um, intentional, clean.
Yeah, that sounds good. And obviously we can get into all the technical SEO things, the HTTPS and stuff. But if you kind of just fix your main pages, simplify things down, and like I said, make the content longer and better and stronger, that's going to fix 80% of your problems. You know, you really shouldn't have any of these issues if you keep things simple. You know, Google likes simple, people like simple. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah. So I think that kind of wraps it up. You know, I think we've covered everything here that all the main points at least that we wanted to cover. So yeah,
Yeah.
anything to take us out there, John?
No, I think, yeah, I think this was a good session. We went through all the important things, and obviously, again, like this is the first time we're doing something like this, so you'll have to have to forgive us if it's not as well organized or kind of planned out or in depth as you would maybe prefer to be, but we're kind of, you know, just getting started and improving as we move forward.
Yeah, as always, we'd love to hear your feedback. So if you have a site that you want us to review, then, you know, shoot it on over and let us know what you think.
Yeah.
All right, till next time, John.
Till next time.